Hey everyone, it's Andrew, and I'm very excited to bring you guys the cross pendant tutorial. This design started off as a Christmas run that I did for a client, and then I've just decided to kind of open it up for, customs basically throughout the year, and it seems to be getting a good response, and it was, it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely a little less complicated than some of my other pendant designs, so I thought it would be great for a full-length tutorial for you all. And so, here we go, let's get on into it. So starting off, you've obviously got to start with the frame. And what I like to do is kind of go in a mass-produced mentality. I mean, that's really not a great mentality to look at it as, or not a great way to describe it as, but I feel like you go in each individual step and it'll make it kind of the fastest way to get them all done. Go through each process all throughout once, building the frame and then polishing and then doing detailing and stuff like that afterwards, kind of all in conjunction, all at the same time. And so I've started off with my first 4 frames here, and they're ready to go over to soldering, and I'm going to do the last one here. We've got our length of argentium, and I'm going to get started on the frame here.
Without the fear of pain, it may find its way in. And if it did, I'd do the same all again. A witness flow of poetry in the ocean. And right along to my eyes met the lining of the sky. Fulfilled enough to never question why. And I showed myself upon my own reflection of a world I'm creating that's affecting everywhere. On the day I woke, I saw us all as one. You sang to me these lyrics as if they were written to the beating of my heart. If you can feel its pulse, it's not too late to start. But it's not my place for me to offer lessons or give advice to those who have their own lives. But to share with you the simple things I find. Oh, but still you held this message in your eyes. In a promise to myself I would express it, well, not knowing if I'm capable or if I would respond. On the day I woke, I saw some as well. On the day I woke and saw all as one. On the day I woke and saw all as one.
Now that we have all the frames shaped up, we're ready to solder. Now that we've got them all polished up, we're ready to start doing the details and getting all of the pendants formed up. I'm going to start by attaching the sides and then building that on and doing that for all of the pieces and then doing the center part. After you've attached your two 21G square to your frame, go ahead and take one of your larger 20 gauge or 18 gauge square and start by bending the tip of your cross out. I like to match it up with one of my other ones just to make sure it's going to pair up. And get that ready to attach. We're going to use 30G round to attach that to the piece. Start by wrapping your 30G round around your 21G square. And start weaving your 30G around your 21G square bases a couple of times. Make a little weave pattern between them. And then lay your bent piece over that and start wrapping your 30G around there. And do another weave pattern on the outside there. And do it twice. And then bring that wire back over to your 21G. And then back down and weave that other 21G to your larger base wire. Make any adjustments you might need to. Now you're ready to bend your angles. On the points. create a little tip there and bend your 18G back in line with your 21G. Go ahead and do that with the other side. Try to keep them as even as you can.
Saw beauty in the selflessness of giving. Heard sorrow in the songs of 1,000 merchantmen, singing just to fill their emptiness. New wisdom was a choice of the moment, there for you to be now.
Now you're ready to set your stone. We're going to be utilizing 2 pieces of half round 22 gauge half hard. Going to cut off about 5 to 6 inch lengths of that. And now we're going to be using the weave channel setting to set a single stone on the side here. Go ahead and feed your 22 gauge through that little point in the tip. And then you take that end and feed it back through and attach it to the frame.
And if it did, I'd do the same all again. A witness flow of poetry in the ocean.
Oh.
And right along to my
Don't do that.
eyes met the lining of the sky. Fulfilled enough to never question why. And I showed myself upon my own reflection of a world I'm creating that's affecting everywhere. On the day I woke, I saw us all as one. And you yourself, you sang to me these lyrics as if they were written to the beating of my heart. If you can feel its pulse, it's not too late to start. But it's not my place for me to offer lessons or give advice to those who have their own
Alrighty.
minds. But to share with you the
Once
simple things
your
I
wires
find.
are attached, you're ready to
Oh, but still you
put
have
your
this
stone in
message
there.
your eyes. In a promise to myself, I would express it.
Right.
Well, not knowing if I'm capable
Continue your
or
weave.
if I would respond.
and start wrapping your 30
Day I woke,
gauge
the soul song is well.
around your 21G, or I'm sorry, your 22G half round to start incorporating it into the weave.
On the day I woke, the soul song is well.
Bring that 30G back around to the other square base, and then back under and around the 22G half round. Then back over to your other base wire. And once that is in your weave, you can go ahead and open up where you're going to set the stone. Once you've built more of your weave there, you're ready to take one of your stones, set it in your placement there. And attach it with your 22G. You're going to fold your half round over the stone, making the little V there, and then you're going to bend your half round. Oh my gosh. Holding your stone in. Fuck. Holding the stone in with your nail, you're going to bend your 22G over the stone as such, creating kind of an eye-shaped pattern over the stone. I always like to kind of flatten that down on the other side. And then what I want to do here is integrate the outer wire again and bring it back in. Wrap your 30G around your two outer base wires. So now you're starting to weave these back in together. Once you've done that, bring your 30G back under, tighten it all up, and wrap it back around your 22 half round again to incorporate that back into the weave, kind of like we did before. I like to straighten those 22 out. Then we're integrating the thicker base wire into the weave again as well, as such. And as you can see, that's starting to build the setting over the stone. You're going to need to adjust a little bit there and kind of open it up a bit more. But continue your weave pattern on between the square base wires and continue integrating your outer wires and also your middle base wires. I like to go over this other side 3 times. It's to create a nice secure setting for that stone. Push that in. And then bringing that 30G back into the center and clipping off our extra ends. We're now ready to fold this into the frame. I like to do these all kind of at the same time because it's just a bit easier. we're going to curl those ends around the frame to attach it and secure this section. On the back side, we will be leaving these center base wires, the 21G. We're going to leave them sticking out for a little bit because we're going to end up attaching those to the bail when we bring that back. Then now you're ready to attach your half round wires as well. New wisdom was the choice of the moment. There for you to be now and not just to become. Go ahead and send those through the center on the back, and then bring them back around and attach them to the frame. On the day I woke, so soulless one. I could with my heart open, without the fear of pain. Now you're ready. Find its way in. And if it did, I'd do to tuck in all your ends and to continue on to the other side and set the other stone. So now that we have our two side stones set, we're ready to build the center component of the cross and set the other stones. We're going to start by building the bail and the bars that go down to the back and attach these wires. Starting by attaching two 21G square to your top part of the frame here. You sanctified these lyrics as if they were written to the beating of my heart. If you can feel its pulse, it's not too late to start. But it's not my place for me to offer lessons or give advice to those who have their own minds. But to share with you the simple things I find. And then bend those wires back. You held this message in your eyes. In a promise to myself, I would express it. Well, not knowing if I'm capable or now we're going to attach some 26G round wire to the frame and then wrap it around the base wires here to continue making the bail. When you've got about an inch length, you're ready to bend back your wires to create the bar. You're going to separate the 21G over your other pointed wires up. Curl it back right down to form the bail over those pointed wires. Go ahead and finish wrapping your 26G around a base wire. Clip off your extra. And continue your 21G square down each side of those wires and connect them down to the frame. And then attach your exposed wires to the bars. Now we're going to use 2 more lengths of 21G. You're going to want them just a little bit longer than the actual piece on each end. And we're going to be using these to start building the center component. Feed them through the back and attach them up to the frame, much like we did with the other tips. bend those wires down and angle them so that way they open up over the center and run down the length of the piece. We're going to be taking another length of 21G square, and we're going to be attaching it to the edge here. But starting halfway, we're going to angle it again to create the top point. And then attach it just like we did with the two ends, with the two side pieces. So continuing with your 30G round, attach it to one side, run it down to the bottom, and begin your weave create a small weave, and attach that with a 30 gauge to your middle wires, doing the same weave pattern that you did on the ends. And here, maybe take a look at your center point, see if you want to adjust it. You know, maybe make it a little bit taller. And bring that weave over to the other side and attach it to the base again.
Saw beauty in the selflessness of giving. Heard sorrow in the songs of 1,000 merchantmen, singing just to fill their empty.
Alright, now we've got that weave attached.
Was a choice of the moment.
We're going to
There for you to be now and not
bend
just
our
to
ends
become.
into the center.
I put myself down just by looking up. I felt love from the caring of a woman. I felt the loss of a
To create the next part.
beneath the sun. On the day I woke, so soulless one. I could with my heart open, without the fear of pain that may find its way in. And if it did, I'd do the same all again. A witness flow of poetry in the ocean,
And then make any adjustments you might need to here.
Fulfilled enough to never question why. And I showed myself upon my own reflection of a world I'm creating that's affecting everyone. On the day I woke, and I saw us all as one. sang to make these lyrics as if they were written to the beating of my heart. If you can feel its pulse, it's not
Make sure you
late
open up
start.
that outside part as
But
much
it's
as you
not my
need to,
place for me.
so that way there is still kind of a space between
I'll give advice to
those
who have their
points
own mind.
in your base, so that way you can still weave your 30 gauge around there. Just kind of looking and judging how this all sits on here.
To myself, I would express it, well, not knowing if I'm capable or if I would respond. On the day I woke, the soul song is well.
And then once you're ready, once you've got your outside point built and shaped how you want, you're ready to continue down the center and set the center stones. Continue your weave and make sure it's really tight on those center wires. And then this time we're going to be using 4 lengths of the 22 gauge half round. They're going to be about 6 inches long. Go ahead and feed your lengths of 22 gauge square through the top and attach them to the frame much like we did earlier, bringing them around the bale, and as close as you can to the frame, tuck them in and connect them. And pull it as tight as you can. Clip your ends. And make sure it's flat so that way when the chain comes through, it doesn't connect with the wire. And go ahead and do that with the other 4. Once you have your 4 22 half round connected to the frame, you're ready to start weaving them into the wires. And so just like before, continue with your weave underneath them, connect around, and then bring that wire back up under your base wires. And then continue the weave on down between the middle base wires. And then once you're up near the top here, continue the weave between the outer part and the inner base wire. And then continue your weave underneath. I like to do about 3 times around on this first one. At least when I'm doing a larger stone. If you're doing a smaller stone in here, you could probably get away with only going around those center wires twice or even once. And then lift. Lift them up and split them up accordingly, because we're going to create a center space for the stone to sit in. I'm using a larger stone with a bit larger girdle, and so we're going to create a bit of a section here where it can sit into. And so we're going to continue on one side. And continue. After you've done about maybe a centimeter length, if you're doing a larger girdle stone, you want to make just a little section for that to just go in there. You can continue your weave, after you've made your little section here, however long you need it. That's right about where I need it. You're going to need to bend your half round 22 gauge kind of over the top of your stone here. That way your stone sits in your wires. Then much like before, you're going to bend it over your stone, creating that eye pattern again. And then, same concept as the smaller stones. You're going to bring your wire through. And bring that wire underneath and through. Through your wires to close them down. I like to kind of close it in a little bit over the stone. And then also close down those wires, much like I did with those two. I like to even it all out and push them down so that way they get a really good secure hold over that stone.
Saw beauty in the selflessness of giving, heard sorrow in the songs of 1,000 merchantmen, singing just to fill their emptiness. New wisdom was a choice of the moment. there for you to be now and not just to because I put myself down just by looking up.
All right.
Fell love from the caring of
Once we've got that first attached
for
down,
the loss of a fallen child underneath the sun.
I'm going to close this up a little bit more.
The day I woke, so soulless one.
We're going to want to bring this down as much as we can on here. And straighten your wires out. And then start incorporating your outer bars into the weave.
Find its way in. And if it did, I'd do the same all again. A witness flow of poetry in the ocean. And right along to my eyes met the lining of the sky. Fulfilled enough to never question why. And I showed myself upon my own reflection of a world I'm creating that's affecting everyone.
And then continue your weave down the center length. Much like the top part, I like to go around 3 times on the bottom part for a larger stone. And then keep incorporating your outer part
they were written to the beating of my heart. If you can feel its pulse, it's not too late to start.
Go ahead and flatten out and make sure you're keeping this whole weave even. When you're working with so many wires, they can kind of shift a little bit.
But I share with you the simple things I find. Oh, but still you held this message in your eyes. In a promise to myself, I would express it. Well, not knowing if I'm capable or if I would respond. On the day I woke, the soul song is when.
Now, we're going to feed these bottom 2 half-round wires through the frame. We're not going to We're not going to attach them yet. We're going to just feed them through. And keep them loose, because we're going to want them to kind of shift a little bit. And then continue your weave down the center path between the middle 2 base wires until you get to around this bottom section. Go ahead and feed the bottom 2 half-round wires through the frame to the backside, but don't attach them yet. Keep them loose because we're going to want them to shift a little bit. Keep the bottom 2 up and then continue your weave up until around this point.
Following all those roads to destinations where nobody knows. The bit is right, but you dive and roll. 'Cause when you roll out, people feel empty. If you were both God, it's all about the journey. So loosen you must sit, trust when you wait. You're stronger when the lucid the day of your state. So take your breath at the moment when you wait. Stop and realize and forever remain lucid in your waking day. No one can take
once we've gotten about another centimeter down the length of the piece, we're going to want to reintegrate these two center wires because we're getting ready to set the bottom stone. Now, the other thing you could have done had been to set stones all the way down here and kind of bling it out a little bit more. But this is actually part of an order, and the client has a specific layout of stones that they want, and so we're going to obviously honor that for them. And then, as you saw, I also incorporated my outside two wires because we're going to bend them out to create our bottom point. Try to keep the bend at the same spot so we're keeping this uniform. And then go ahead and continue and make the section you need for your stone for another weave channel setting. And once you're ready to, bring your stone, and go ahead and set it in there. Go ahead and start to build your setting. And continue to incorporate those wires into the weave. And adjust your wires over your stone and make sure it's opened up nice so the stone is displayed well. And continue those wires down until you've gone maybe 2 or 3 more times around the bottom there. I like to keep it extra secure. Then we're going to form the rest of the point. once you've got everything lined up to where you want it to be, so feed your half round wires through the bottom and start to weave your outer wires, your point, onto the top here and connect it to the bottom base wires. We're going to want to make this all one sort of component. As you saw, my wire kind of broke right there. So what I'm going to do in that situation is feed my extra wire through, attach it to the frame, and then just continue on with our weave here. Make sure you leave an extra bit out in that situation to attach it to the frame, because otherwise it'll just be loose and it might fall off, you know, the wire in the future. I'm going to want to continue down this weave on the back for a little bit, really securing that point together.
Saw beauty in the selflessness of giving. Heard sorrow in the song.
And now we're ready to connect our back wires to the frame as well.
New wisdom was a choice of the moment.
Depending on where this is at, you can either feed it through the bottom here or just through, you know, over the bottom or through the bottom.
Fell love from the caring of a woman. I felt the loss of a fallen child underneath the sun. On the day I woke, the soul's as one. I could with my heart open, without the fear of pain it may find its way in. And if it did, I'd do the same all again. A witness flow of poetry in the ocean, and right along to my eyes met the lining of the sky.
Once you've attached your 22 gauge half round, you're ready to start folding back the tip of the point
of a world I'm creating that's affecting everyone. On the day I woke,
keeping it nice and even. Ready to fold that back. Now before attaching these to the base, go ahead and attach these to your back wires here.
They were written to the beating of my heart. If you can feel its pulse, it's not too late to start. But it's not my place for me to offer lessons or give advice to those who have their own minds. But to share with you the simple things I find. Oh, but still you held this message in your eyes. In a promise to myself,
alrighty,
I would express
we're going to go ahead and add another section of 20 to half round to just kind of make sure that we secure this stone into place. I've done this on almost all of my editions of this cross. It seems to just really seems to help just secure that stone in there. And then attach these ends down to the frame on either side. Alrighty, now we're ready to start polishing. We're gonna take some of the pink polishing cloths and detail the edges around here, and then we're going to go after the backs, and we're gonna get them looking all nice and ready to go. Now that we've got the stone setting and detailing done, we're ready to move forward with the polishing. What we're going to do is work out some of the little tool marks on the top with the pink sunshine pad. I really like the abrasive side on the pink sunshine cloth because it helps get out those little nooks and crannies without removing too much material from other levels as well. And so I'm going to start with that, and then we're going to start with a progression of bristle brushes, and I'm going to give you a quick rundown on that. And so we're getting these nice and shiny, and at this point you could oxidize the design or take it whichever direction you'd like. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial, and try and send me some photos of the designs that you guys do with this. Thanks, have a great day.